So now it is my greatest pleasure to welcome our guest of honor today, Keith Tan, Chief Executive of Singapore Tourism Board.
Hi everyone, it's a huge pleasure to be here, and it's an honor a special honor because we had to advocate very hard for the reopening of the MICE sector. Before I came in, I asked Siu Hun, what is it that you would want to hear from me? And she said, the truth. Well, I don't know what the truth is right now, it's out there. But the truth is that we are at a very, very challenging point in all of our careers, all of our businesses. Even for myself, you may think that being in the government is a safer job, but it's been extremely challenging thinking about how we can support the tourism industry, the MICE sector. I have told this to some of my colleagues. What we're facing is a very asymmetrical situation. When we started closing down the economy several months ago, it feels like a lifetime ago, earlier on when we were at just before the circuit breaker, it's a very easy decision. You have a single decision and everything closes, right? And everybody is confined to their homes, schools are closed, businesses are closed, the borders are closed. Now we are at the converse, and here's the asymmetry, because the reopening of the economy, the reopening of the borders is a lot more complicated. And that is where I assure you, the Singapore Tourism Board is working very closely with all our other government agency partners to think of how we can do this in a safe, gradual manner that minimizes the likelihood of having to reverse track and create more disruptions to businesses. So we were able to advocate first for MICE events here in Singapore, starting with 50, and from today onwards, we will be taking applications for up to 250 people. Of course, that's still a far cry from the large MICE events that we've become so accustomed to. Thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. We will make a small step towards that later this year with Travel Revive. That will be Singapore's first travel-related trade show, where the numbers will be a few hundred, possibly more than closer to 1,000 or more, and with quite a few in fact, hopefully coming from overseas. That will be a very significant step forward for us, and one of the world's first international MICE events. This will be a challenging time for us, but I hope that we can work very closely with the travel industry, the MICE sector, technology partners, infrastructure and venue operators to come up with creative solutions to support our business in the months and years ahead. Now, why do I say years, right? And this is because I come back to Siu Hun and her point about the truth. I still get the impression when I meet with people in the travel industry that they think this will all blow over and be done with by 1Q 2021. I don't think so. Right? And if we've been in this for the last 8 months, we will be very lucky if we can say that we are approaching the halfway mark. Right? And I think that we have to be prepared for a long, difficult slog. The recovery, when it does start happening, will be slow and fitful. Don't think of the recovery that we had during SARS, which was a very sharp recovery. People are scared to travel. People are worried about, even if the vaccine is found, whether they can trust it. They're worried about hygiene. They're worried about large crowds. And to be honest, a densely populated urban city like Singapore faces a lot more constraints and a lot more challenges in restoring travel compared to larger countries with large, wide open spaces. So travel will take some time to recover, even as we open up our borders. We've been gradually opening up our borders here in Singapore. You would have seen, in fact, the latest announcements about our unilateral opening to Vietnam and Australia, but that won't spur a lot of travel into Singapore because other countries, right, travel takes two hands, right, to clap, and the other countries still have their own restrictions. So we don't anticipate a huge recovery anytime soon. And so one of the key messages that I've been conveying to many of our partners is be prepared for the long haul. Now, in the meantime, where STD comes in is on 3 areas of priority. Number one, how can we help good tourism businesses survive through this long winter. We've done that by helping you to tackle your business costs, and more recently, we're now doing everything we can to stimulate demand, at least domestic demand. Our second priority has been how do we maintain and grow confidence in Singapore and the mind share of Singapore as one of the world's leading leisure and business destinations. We've done that through SG Clean. We've done that through a very massive online campaign to push out the idea of Singapore, working with our attractions, our hotels, our partners, to get the idea of Singapore out into the minds of armchair travelers all over the world who can't travel. But when they can start planning to travel, we want Singapore to be number one on their bucket list. And thirdly, and this is the main point for today, the third main priority we have is how do we help businesses innovate, reimagine, reconceive completely from the ground up their experiences, their products, their offerings. And even an event like this is a reflection of how we are thinking very hard how we can create a safe event. Now, this is an event of 50 people. Imagine if we were an event of 250, 5,000, 10,000, right? The scale makes it harder to imagine, but we have to do so. How do we leverage on technology? How do we leverage on good design? How do we leverage on testing capabilities, which are improving, by the way, to create safe business events, safe tourism products? So, for example, one of the things we're working very hard on is how do we help people, how do we help our tourism partners to create new products that meet the future travelers' desire to have smaller, more exclusive, safer experiences. Back-of-house tours, smaller hosted tours, after off-peak hours visits, for example. So all these are ideas that we need to seed with the industry so that when we start recovering, Singapore is in the best position to recover and to regain our position as one of the world's best, most safe, trusted, and innovative tourist destinations in the whole world. And we need all of you and all of your support for that. Thank you very much.